This is section 7.2, day 1, surface areas of prisms and cylinders. Our objective today is to find the surface area of prisms and cylinders using nets. Let's start with our vocab. A net is a two-dimensional pattern that you can fold to form a three-dimensional figure. Surface area would be the sum of the areas of all the faces of a three-dimensional figure, measured in square units. We can use our net to find our surface area by finding the area of each of the different pieces on our net and then adding them together. Let's start by drawing a net. We have a triangular prism. So I'm going to start by drawing my top. It is a right triangle. I'm going to label it T for top. Then let's see, the top connects to the right here. Let's draw that right. It is a rectangle. I call it R for right. Awesome. The right side also connects to that bottom there, so let's draw the bottom on. BO for bottom. The left, look, it shares that same side there, right here, so I'm going to draw it down here. That's my left. And the back, let's see, oh, it's connected to this line I drew on the bottom. Let's draw my back there. And there's my net. Realize there are multiple ways you can draw a net for any given solid. So try this one on your own. Draw a net for this rectangular prism. All right, as I said, there are multiple ways you can do this. One way is to start with this top part. That's where I started. That is 16 by 5. So I label it 16 and 5. And then let's look at this piece here. That was 16 again by 4. And then the bottom is 16 by 5 again. And the back would be a 16 by 4. Okay, now I left out this side, which is 5 by 4. And let's say it's coming like right there. So this is 5 and that's 4. Then there's another one on the other end, so let's put it here. It's 5 by 4. There's my net. Now, to find surface areas, we are going to draw a net and then calculate the area of each piece. So let's start by drawing a net for this triangular prism. Well, I see a right triangle on the top, so I'll draw that right triangle. I know that it is 12 high, 9 looks like that bottom there, and 15 is the slanty side. All right. Well, coming off of my 12, I see a 12 by 4 rectangle, so 12 by 4. And then I see an identical triangle on the bottom, so I'll label everything I know about that one. The 5 and the 9, and the 12, that's already there. Let's see, I'm going to erase some of these lines I drew. I see this piece here, that's 9, and it would be 4 high. So maybe it's coming off right here, 9 by 4. Notice how my two 9s would kind of fold together there. All right. And I also see this big 15 by 4. So let's draw it coming off of here as one, like a little wing. 15 by 4. Awesome. So I have my net. Now what I like to do is just number my pieces and find each area. Piece number 1 is a rectangle. 15 by 4, 15 times 4 makes 60. Piece number 2 is going to be a triangle. To find the area of that triangle, I do 1/2 times the base, which would be 9, times the height, which would be 12. 1/2 times 9 times 12 is 54. Piece 3 is another rectangle. It is 12 by 4, so 12 times 4 is 48. Piece 4, I'll call this triangle, and look, it's the same as 2, so it must be 54. And then piece 5 will be this bottom one. It's a rectangle. It's 9 by 4, which makes 36. So now we're going to add all those shapes together. 60 plus 54 plus 48 plus 54 plus 36. And we get our final surface area, which is 252 square centimeters. Try this one. You've already drawn the net for it. So while you work, I'm going to redraw my net. All right, there's the net we should have drawn, or we did draw before. Let's call this shape 1. To find the area of shape 1 is a rectangle, so I do 4 times 5, which is 20. Shape 2 is another rectangle, 16 by 5, which makes 80. Shape 3 is another rectangle, which is 16 by 4, which is 64. Shape 4 is 16 by 5, which we already did, so it's 80. Shape 5 is 4 by 5, which is 20. And shape 6 is 16 by 4, which is 64. Add those all together, we get 328 square feet. Now we're going to look at cylinders. To find the surface area of a cylinder, the top and bottom are both circles. That's where we get our circles. We know the diameter of those circles in this case, so I label those 10. Then we kind of unroll the sides, and it makes a big rectangle. The width of that rectangle is the circumference of that circle, which is pi times our diameter, which is where the pi times 10 came from. The height connecting the two bases is the height of that rectangle. So now we've got 3 pieces. To find the area of circle number 1, I do pi times my radius. Remember, radius is 5 squared, which gives me about 78.54. Shape 2 is a rectangle, so I do base times height, which is 14 times pi times 10, which will give me 439.82. And then shape 3 is a circle again, and guess what? It's the same as the first one, so we get 78.54. We add the 3 shapes together, and we get a surface area of 596.9 square centimeters. Now we're going to find the surface area of this cylinder. So to find the surface area, let's start with our circles. And there's going to be a rectangle in between. The circles, I know the diameter is 20. I know that the length connecting the 2 circles is 45. Then I can find the width of my circle. Remember, it'll be the circumference of the circle. The circumference would be 20 times pi. Now I can find my surface area. For the circles, column 1 and 2 on this one, I'm just going to write them down once. We do pi times our radius, which is 10 squared, which gives me 314.16. And then for my rectangle, I do 20 pi times 45, which gives me 2,827.43. Now I have to remember to add 2 of my circles, 2 of those 314s. Add these all together, we get 3,455.75 square meters. Your assignment, you're actually only going to do 7 through 13.